such a stereotype.
Where's that?
Alright guys, this is Convention Horror Stories. For those of you who've never been to this panel before,
It's horrible.
this is why we cry tonight.
This is why we look the way we do.
This is why I'm bald.
He's 18 years old.
I'm 2.
Okay, that adds so many questions.
I mistake.
Guys, let's go down to the table. They're going to introduce themselves and tell you what convention or what position they started. Jake, would you please start?
For the story we're going to tell?
No, convention and position.
Oh, IFC. I'm the charity liaison. Hi, my name is Jake Bunny. Hi, my name is Jake. Hi, is the Bunny.
Is it buddy?
Yeah. Oh, right. And this little pun called Enter Ohio.
Ed, please introduce yourself.
I am the con-chair for Anther, Ohio, which is not a little and the director of operations for MCFC.
Who's your charity liaison?
Hi, I'm Cryo, or Kyle, whichever one you prefer. I'm the director of logistics for Anthrocon. I hate you.
He gave you an indoor car.
No kidding.
Oh shit! That's where you going? Okay. Now there is one person who's allowed to do stuff like that, and that's your con chairman. You'll understand one day we trick you into running a con. Ryan, you said what you do? Yes. You're insane. Poker?
I am Poker Wolf, the director of programming at Fur Reality.
My name is Alkali. I'm the con chairman of First Square, and I do board positions and staff positions at various other conventions. But now, the person you've been here to see, who are you? Who are you?
I'm Uncle Kage. I'm the chairman of Anthrocon for the past 20 years, and I'm a very sad man.
Man, we just went over this. You're 18.
I started when I was still a gleam in my father's eye and an expectant grin on my mother's face.
The fuck. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
$20.
Hey, I'm director of finance, so hold on. Okay, I'm gonna write you a check from the convention. Guys, how many pockets? There are 8 in the jacket and then a lot more hidden. This is an old trader's jacket. Oh, I would love for you to tell a story. Kage, would you like to tell a story?
About the old days. You see, I'm doing something someday, I think it's about the old days, it's called The Old Days. But when conventions like this were first starting out, we didn't have dances. That was something that came along after a couple of years. It was just a couple of strobe lights, and then somebody brought in some black lights, and then more and more they started getting all these big effects. And then one year at Anthrocon, they said, okay, we're going to go whole hog and we're going to rent this huge amounts of equipment, and we're going to get the things and those things and the lights and the sound, and we're going to get like $30,000 worth of all this stuff, and it's going to be wonderful. And they're like, yay! And I said, no, and they said, yay! And they got it in, and they set it all up, and it's, yay, we're going to have a dance, it's all set up, and then they took the plug and plugged it into the wall, and the whole hotel went dark. They hadn't thought about that.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That was the first attempt to have like a really big, cool dance, and they just forgot that it's drawing like 800 amps of current, and They made this really cool, like, blue arc.
Jesus!
It was like, wow! I mean, everything just...
Yeah, conventions are kind of a crapshoot of insanity.
Mostly crap.
Yeah. That's the the one thing you have to understand. I mean, you know some of our backgrounds. I'm a stockbroker, he's a chemist, does as a pharmaceutical technician, or you're a pill popper.
Bill Packer.
Ogre, I don't know, I think he skins rabbits or something. Yeah, Jake, he needs to talk to you. Guys, we don't have, like, for the most part, we don't have backgrounds that prepare us for this, so we have to ask questions. We have to ask questions of our department. Like, our reg team. Excuse me, reg team, why isn't reg open? Why isn't it open now? Why is there a line all the way around my hotel for people waiting to pay us to enjoy the convention?
Guys on the stage, raise your hand if that's a familiar story to you.
Registration is that funnel. All of you get to use registration. Panels, other activities at the con, some of you use it. Every one of you use registration. That can be a lot of people. We're a 1,000+ person con. Some cons have more people than that. Some cons descend upon their town, forming lines that you would never stand in for the greatest of roller coasters, and then try to print out of a single printer. And that printer, instead of sounding like a laser jet, sounded like this. Dot Matrix Kage. I see you have the 80s theme.
We can land a spaceship on the head of a goddamn comet, but they can't have 4 printers operating off the same queue at one time. This is what I said to them. Next.
I'm also pretty sure that you said, fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it.
Not that many times, I generally only say it once. Fix it.
And then he makes eye contact with me and it's hysterical.
The reason I'm wearing these, have you ever seen that Marvel movie with that guy, Cyclops, in it? If I take these off, it'll appear on this paper.
Sometimes the answer as to why registration isn't working is less technological and more mechanical. Like a large wooden door. MCFC has had their registration in a coat room traditionally with the nice wooden roll up the door, open for business, close it at the end of the day. And as they're setting up on Friday, they put out their laptops, one here, one here. The only one that can print badges right here, and the door just went and destroyed the only badge printing laptop.
The other thing you have to understand, registration is an important part because, as you know, I mean, no matter what this actually is, I mean, we're throwing a big party this weekend. But in the end, we want to throw it next year, so we do have to treat this as a business. We have to file taxes unless you're over on the coastline. We really have to organize. So money is a very important thing. And sometimes registration comes up with brilliant ideas, like getting a money counter to keep it all organized. And that doesn't read the money counter's instructions. Do you know you have to oil money counters? Who works at a bank? Oh, who here has ever seen what happens if you don't keep your money counter freshly oiled? Yes! What happens? What happens is, if you've ever seen those big glass chambers with people trying to grab money, that's what it is. It just shoots freaking bills out of it. And that's what I walked into in registration.
And immediately got an erection, I might add.
I feel pretty, oh so pretty. No, they were 20s. Now that being said, guys, you never let anything go to waste at a FurCon, so in my house, I have a money shower now. Every once in a while, I just like to get the Bukkake ones. PG-13. PG-13. I'm so sorry. For those of you who don't know what that word means, it means hugs. Unless you were planning on telling it to your teachers, please do not read. Oh, God.
Very wet, squishy hugs, actually.
$40. I am not allowed to reproduce for so many reasons. Guys, can somebody join us late at the table? There's a few people at conventions that are always available, that are always acceptable to be at the panel late. One of them is always the convention chairman. Guys, your Indiana FurCon convention chairman, Lord Pandas! Tell us a story, Pandas.
Let's see, a story. Well, so the story I was gonna tell got told by someone else about an hour ago at the Draghead show.
Yeah, but they weren't there. Go ahead.
Who here was at the Draghead show about an hour ago? Half the crowd. So I'll tell it for the rest of you. And he actually didn't quite remember the details quite accurately. So last year we had those two wonderful Ferraris that were brought in to be on theme. They were fantastic in our atrium. And this year, we decided, okay, we're going to do something a little different. The 80s theme, we have the gaming cabinets in the video game room. But I'm like, okay, so we're not doing cars. That's a different thing. We're not going to do it. Literally this morning, he looks at me and goes, oh, just to let you know, the cars are going to be here either late today or tomorrow morning. What? The cars are, oh no, we're waiving the 2-year rule. It's not, no, 2 months, 2 days, no. This is the 12-hour rule right now.
Yeah.
We're waiving this. So I'm like, what do you mean cars? There's no cars. And Nikki, my wonderful, lovely head of operations, is standing right beside me and goes, we talked about this in the board chat, all last month. All last month. How do you not remember? Literally being irritated with me. I'm like, but we didn't, we have 2 cars coming. How do you not know this? I don't, you signed off on this. When did I sign off on this? I had no idea what was going on. I'm like, I guess I signed off on this. A couple hours go by. They're like, oh yeah, one of them's going to be here any minute now. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? Alkali comes over with paperwork. Hey, by the way, this last minute car bolt, PG-13. I had to redo the event insurance this week to account for this, so let's not do that next year. I need you to co-sign this. And I'm like, gee, what the hell? I didn't even read the paperwork. He's just had this this could be I'm signing over the con to you. I don't know.
So.
And I'm like, oh, gee. And he goes, at one point, oh, hey, I just got a message. The cars are here. Come on outside. And I'm like, okay, we'll figure something out. We'll put out a tweet. We'll go out and go out there. And there's 2 little Matchbox cars. Classic 1980s Matchbox cars. And I look at them and I go, you guys all trolled me the first day of the convention.
That's what you get for the kale incident.
Yeah.
It's true love when your whole team is in on it.
Oh, yeah.
When your entire staff, deadpan, is you really should have made that call this year. That was really a bad call. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that it's such a hassle. You guys trolled me the first day of con. Kept me going for 12 hours assuming that this was a thing. And then it was just thank you. That's dedication. Trolling the chairman the first day of con.
Good work, Des. Good work. We love you. And Jake, the mastermind behind this. Now, at first, you have to understand, I wasn't in on it either. And I didn't know this, but I guess they were trying to break me too. And the entire board of directors was, do not fucking do that to Alkali. I will get new insurance and then murder you. Which is exactly what was going to happen. And then I found out that you didn't know that I know. Don't tell him. I'm going to tell him that I just spent $3,000 of insurance. And he will fucking learn.
okay. We all make mistakes.
And my parents used to say that. Oh. I get it now.
My son.
We do all make mistakes.
So for those of you who were here last year, if you see these cars in the atrium, don't touch them, I will kill you.
Even those of us that you would think would know better have been known to make mistakes. A very important lesson for those of you who are freshmen or young con-chairs. If you have a logistics department, let them do their job. Don't help them.
Kage, did you take a truck somewhere? Did you help with the truck?
I wanted to make their job easier.
And what did you actually succeed in doing?
Not?
That's an understatement.
Why don't you tell me the story, Brian? Because I don't remember the details.
Oh, I do.
Oh,
Someone always does.
Now, to be honest, this man is a scientist.
Yes.
A chemist, by trade.
Which means I failed physics.
He failed physics.
that's fucking funny.
That's good.
70. And how much, dude?
He failed. So, he has this wonderful idea. We need wheel chocks.
The carts are on wheels.
The carts are on wheels.
We'll just wheel everything in and chop the tires. Everything's fine.
They stop airplanes.
Yes. Sometimes. Airplanes are big. Our carts are small.
Yeah. The wheels are decent.
Airplanes fly.
Airplanes fly.
So do our cars.
Yes, they do fly, considering that we're on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. Those wheel chocks did not work. They're good for back and forth, not up and down.
We were driving along, and I remember talking, telling a story, and it's like, hey, Cryo, and all of a sudden we heard, it's like, what was that? Did we run over the field? Here it goes again.
Meanwhile, in the car following us, they're looking on in abject horror.
The carts are in a car.
And the carts are in the back of the truck.
Oh, yeah, I was like,
Yes, the car following us, how did they describe it?
It's PG-13.
Never mind.
Oh, I'm the only one that's giving to charity. I see. Okay.
The truck was making strange motions as though something inside it were alive and trying to get out.
So you stopped. You said we should stop.
Yes, that was a good idea.
Yes, that was the only thing we could have. Yeah. So we stopped. We pulled over, and me and my other logistics director got out to the back, and we're going. Oh dear God, what have you done?
So what? What? What's it look like back there?
Well, take a look.
My biggest concern was that these now free-ranging carts might have smashed into the side of the truck and damaged the truck. They did not. The box of light bulbs broke the impact.
Now there is a silver lining to this story. The box of light bulbs in question, the light bulbs, miraculously survived.
The box didn't.
The box did not. That box.
We threw it away.
I think we should be trying to do something there.
So, we kept those wheel chocks for like 10 years.
At least. Then we asked the Teamsters to get rid of them.
And then they gave them back to us.
Twice.
They're cursed.
first down.
Okay,
First down.
and there's still something I've not been able to figure out. After the wheel chocks, we bought these load bars to put across the gone. Where the hell did they go?
You decided to move.
Oh yeah, that's right.
What are you talking about?
We got them and then you moved and we couldn't take them with us.
So what did we do with them?
Me and Joey.
That's right.
Oh, we did. We gave it to Joni.
This is how conventions work, by the way.
Joni's another convention chair.
What the heck happened to this item? Did we have that item? Do we need that item? What do we need to do? Where did it go? I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. pass on. Who is Steve?
Yep.
All right, let's do some.
Careful. Okay, yep. Now.
Let's do some quick fire, guys.
Yep.
Let's hear out of context quote. The best thing you've ever heard come over the radio. Do you have anything that's come over the radio? Does anything come to mind? Does anything pop into your mind? Do you have a fire of information in your mind? Do you remember what I'm talking about? Have you been drinking? Are you okay?
I'm okay.
No. Best thing to ever come through a radio. What was it?
Hey, I found the poppers.
This is the cotton chair. Do you mean novelty popping discs?
Yeah.
Please call them novelty popping discs.
Hey, did anyone put out the fire?
This is the cotton chair. Do you mean the barbecue?
Yeah.
Turn in your radio.
Where's the truck?
Yes.
Should we do anything about the people juggling fire on the patio? Bismarck, head of legal, signing off.
There are guys upstairs, half naked, and it's okay they're wearing pants, throwing pies at each other.
That was in a panel. Yeah.
Never again.
Yeah, remember that.
Okay. This is security to more security? There's a homeless guy in one of the fire team's rooms. I don't know if he was invited.
The oatmeal has been spilled.
It's an old favorite.
It's an old favorite. We will get back to the oatmeal story. We'll tell it today.
Does anybody know why SWAT is on the second floor?
Isn't that it?
Okay, all right. The worst thing I've heard through the radio.
World's
This
worst
is the
radio.
fastest. This is the faster version.
It's only Friday.
Oh, that's a bad one. But yeah.
Has anyone seen our guest?
We've all heard that.
Yeah, that's the scary one. Does
DuckTales.
Our guest is drunk.
Our guest of honor is on the 23rd floor. He's having chest pains.
Oh, okay, that's a bad one. I'm going to try to give this one the respect it deserves because wow. This is security to charity? This is charity, go ahead. We have a half-naked charity bear passed out on the info desk. Please respond. I'll be right there. MFF's charity had, I'm going to be 100% honest, they came to the convention because they were in a bit of a bind. They were not pleased at first with what they thought this was going to be, but they got through them like, look, these guys are obviously trying to help. They seem like really nice people, but they were, and admittedly, they've said this, they were coming into this convention, two of them were homophobic. These two are two of the nicest people I have ever met, and one of them got on stage at the end of the convention and gave one of the most heart-wrenching speeches. They have totally turned and now show up to random Virgin merchants. That's what you guys do. But in the interim of that, the one who was an ex-war person went and drank with you and ended up half naked on an information table. Singing. Yeah, that was a good time.
There are 6 police officers here. They'd like to speak to the chairman. I remember that one.
What happened?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna ask. Never mind.
This one. You're doing it 2 years? Okay.
One does not look into the eye of Sauron and live. Please, does not look at me.
You know, Anthrocon has some strange little rules. Like, if you're a minor, we not only need a permission slip from your parents, we want it notarized. The 6 police officers were there because the father, who discovered that his 14-year-old son was not actually at summer camp, but was rather at this convention, showed up with the cavalry, wanted to know what we were doing with his kid. And I pulled out the permission slip. I beg your pardon, sir, is this not your signature? He said, no. Okay. I don't want to tell the rest of that story.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell a different story.
Okay.
You know, radio, we were talking radio.
Radios, yeah.
We had this very nice group of people. They were massage artists. And they have a little chair that's kind of the thing you sit, the massage chair things. And the lady who was in charge saw me and she said, "You look tense." I said, "Really? What makes you say that?" So she took me over and she put me in the massage chair and she laid me on this little thing, and then she starts doing the, I'm like, the radios had like this little It was about a 90-second broadcast of, oh God. Just like that broadcast of, oh God. And I had her, you had like a little ring pillow that your face is in. I just had this memory of this little hand coming into my radio and click.
Since we're on out of context quotes, I would be remiss if I didn't tell my favorite one, not a radio. Walking around First Square to Year One. First Square to Year One, we were sharing the hotel. Oh, yeah, we all know how fun it is to share the hotel. A group of people who were in the regionals for their cheerleading squad, and a youth basketball team.
Oh, great.
And they were having a good time. They were petting all the fursuiters, like they were getting involved. But this was 9 o'clock at night. It's after dark. And 2 of my friends, and I don't mean acquaintances, I don't mean like I do know you guys and your friends, I'm talking about I've known them for quite some time, decided to walk downstairs in their puppets. And a soccer mom, a little petite soccer mom, whose children had been petting a fursuiter, looked over at the 3 gentlemen who were in puppets, started to go towards them, and this is the exact line. "No, no, honey. Don't touch those doggies. They're dirty."
What's a puppet?
No. He wants to know what a pump is. No. It's bondage gear, okay?
This is like, oh yeah!
For about 30 seconds, this is actually what I
Yeah, someone's eating freaking potato chips in my radio.
Oh, those are the worst.
Oh, turn your radio off when you go to the bathroom.
I know. Okay, you can't tell that without something. Have you guys ever seen The Naked Gun? Yeah, that's why he says that. I don't know what's wrong with your bladder, but dude, this guy's part camel.
It's all that wine, man.
You're not. Oh, no. Oh, worth it. Naked Gun 1, 2, and 3.5. Wait. 33 and a third. 2.5, 33 and a third. Thank you. You should. They're fun. They're really fun.
Less videos. That
Yeah. Okay. Stories.
You want an out of context quote?
Yeah.
They sent 2 large men with beards out to see us.
That's a classic. Des.
Yes.
It does. Yes, thank you.
Security. Go for security. There's cops here wanting to know why there's a panhandler in the lobby.
Story for that one.
The door side have a long history with myself and this man. They cannot get enough of putting us in their little book. And
It's a very big book
It's
now.
a very big book. And the incident for me was 2 years ago in the lobby. I was happy. Very happy. Very happy. Couldn't feel feelings. So I started telling random stories. And I'm not talking about my stage stories. I'm talking about what I used to do on stage for the improv. Literally telling Grandpa Simpson stories that went nowhere. Onion on the belt and everything. And they wanted to see how long I could go. And I told them I wouldn't shut up as long as money went into the hat every few minutes. So I did that last year again, but I didn't get in trouble. So I sat there for a good half an hour going on and just, I don't know. And I did notice 2 police officers looking over at me. I didn't think much of it. I'm a scary dude. Apparently, they went over to operations to the door side and said, sir, do you know you have a panhandler in your lobby? And Rennie, Santa Claus, said, we do. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Which lobby? Where is he? What's going on? Well, this gentleman in a top hat is incredibly inebriated, telling the most random names. Now, you can stop right there. That's our director of finance. And the cops nodded and did not arrest me. But Rennie has, to this day, reminded me that my first encounter with his book, damn.
Oh, God.
You know,
Let somebody else toast him.
Rennie will not show me the book that he keeps on me.
You've got some interesting.
Has he shown it to you?
He showed me yours, he won't show me mine.
You show me yours, I'll show you mine.
Have you the letter?
Have you the letter? Have you the letter? Have you the letter? Have you the letter? Have you the letter?
I did not.
Have you the letter? Have you the letter? Have you the letter? Have you the letter?
I just want my 34 cents.
I'll tell you what, because I've been talking way too much.
I'm going to call Larry Willamere, right?
Oh my God, he's awesome.
Is this how much
Guys,
it takes to get postage out of you guys?
that was from MSD3K. This story died 2 years ago, so I've tried not to tell it since I told it at Athlon. That's usually when I tell my jokes. If you're at a 3-headed monster, just to keep on MSD3K, I will tell the fire alarm story tonight. I don't want to tell it here because you guys asked for oatmeal, but tonight will be the fire alarm story. Not tonight. Not tonight. Jake, Ed, you've been quiet, which means there's either a problem going on or your cons are easier to run than ours.
I'm considering making a bad decision and telling us a recent story. Do you know what this means?
No.
Okay.
He's telling a story that I don't know.
What is
Oh,
it?
my.
We had a shorthand for.
Dude! Sorry, $20.
So, MCFC is an 18-plus convention. It is written on the registration page. It's written on the website. It's every time you email us. And this woman showed up with her clearly not 18 child. And we just said, like, well, we need to see an ID. She's not 18. Okay, bring us an ID. She came back with someone else's ID and said, you didn't specify it had to be hers. Yes, it has to be her ID showing she's over 18. Well, my daughter doesn't have a birth certificate or social security number or ID because I do not do Congress with the federal government.
Oh, God.
Door.
Yes, we told her to leave. On her way out, she did a what's called a quick change scam with registration and somehow obtained her badge and a refund. Came back, registered a second badge, brought her daughter into the dance, came out, brought another person into the dance. She had a whole group in there. So I just went in there and said, we need to talk to you. And she went in, pulled them all out, gave us 2 badges, and said, that's on you. You didn't do your job. And then we invited her to kindly PG-13.
PG-13, unless you want to pay $20.
Um,
I'll spot you. I mean, I'm apparently broke.
let's say hit the road with her entire little crew of...
Twits.
Those-
Yes.
Guys, obviously, I mean, we're here to entertain. This panel is for entertainment purposes. That's what we do.
Can I,
Please be polite.
Can I?
See,
can I-
the next time someone does this, please tell me so I can actually break some rules. I
No,
would get kicked
no,
out.
no. We don't need other people making it worse. No. We make it worse.
Bad. Stop helping, you're not helping.
I have a way to take care of people like that. It's a system we have developed. It's 5 words. Officer Kisner, would you kindly? They're nice to have around, and I suggest yes.
I thought you were going to do something like 50-gallon base bath.
I think acid bath would be better.
We call it basement.
Time.
10:37.
Is that sad?
Do you know the
What?
Do you know the story of the Sword of Damocles? Do you want to story of the Sword of Damocles? Somebody remind me which convention it was. It was rooms much like this one. And I was-
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I was doing some blah blah blah, and right over the door, it was like half room. The only way out was the door, and above the door there was an air conditioning vent, and somebody had loosed a balloon, and through the entire performance, this balloon's going. Boom, boom, boom. It was like the telltale heart. And it was driving me up a damn wall. And I don't remember what I said that sounded like, would somebody please take care of that goddamn thing? It was probably, would somebody please take care of that? But up comes Daniel Boone with this monstrous folding knife. And he gets under the balloon and he goes, and misses the balloon, and the knife buries itself into the ceiling right over the door. And at this point, I couldn't let anybody leave. I didn't want anybody to go through that door. And what we did was we got a very brave person who kind of slunk around. I said, go get the hotel engineer. And the hotel engineer, after 7 or 8 minutes, came, and he looked up and he said, what's that? I said, we don't know. It was here when we got here.
The balloon did it. And you said you remember which... I wish I could remember what con it was. Like he said before, sound systems. Every year, usually you try to go one up from your year prior, and one up, and one up, and one up. And I wish I could remember the con it was, but they set up their sound system, and this is how it was described. I was standing outside the room when all of a sudden the bass was dropped. There was a crashing noise and then silence. They had turned on the system to do the first check, and their first check was the DMX testing noise for the bass. And they had lighting kind of like this. You see how these are just sharp murder sticks? Well, these were sharp murder sticks in a teardrop formation. That during the dance, if there was enough sound, you could actually see them moving. Well, this first blast of bass dislodged 3 of them, which crashed down into the dance floor. Now, the 2 that shattered were funny. The one that bing was the best because it wasn't my count. They were not allowed to turn the volume up to 11.
I forgot. I think every con has a broken chandelier almost killing people.
Yeah.
Uncle Kage, one radio call. Do not touch the tent poles, they are electrified.
That was
That's classic.
Now, I did an entire story hour on that. You're referring to 9. They still call it the disaster. It took place in the Czech Republic at a former Stalin-era youth camp. I technology. That's a long story for another day.
That is a good one.
Oh no.
Okay, it's okay.
I think you should tell them that.
Yeah, sorry, why do you hate Target?
Yeah, why do you hate Target?
Jake would have liked
Oh, no, that's not a con story. The rest of you guys to review your hotel contracts. The 30th of April, I'm sorry, it was November 30th, and it was 2004, and it was 10:30 in the evening. Funny how I remember that.
No, it's not.
My phone rang, and first off, anybody who knows me, you don't freaking call me. Just don't call me. You won't like what happens. And I grabbed the phone, and this voice said, Uncle Kage, what's this I hear? They're going to tear down Anthracon's hotel? And I said, look, okay, do not call me again, you son of a bitch. I'm a busy man. Threw the phone down. And a minute later, the phone rang, and another voice said, Uncle Kage, what's this? They're going to tear down the Abbotsmark Hotel? And I started to get that feeling like you swallowed a cat. I said, what are you talking about? He said, it was just on the news. They said they're tearing down the hotel and building a Target there. And I said, all right, let me look into this. Now, this was a long time ago. We, in those days, were still using IRC. There was a furry IRC server. I wanted to go find people. So I figured I will log into the furry IRC server and I will inquire, does anybody know what this is all about, and somebody will tell me. So I logged into the furry IRC server, and as soon as, Uncle Kage is joined, you're getting messages. I just went, disconnect. And went to bed. And the next day I called up the convention services manager and I said, what the hell's going on? He said, yep, they called us in yesterday and said we're shutting down the hotel, throw all the guests out, we're going to tear it down, and Target's going to build a store here. I said, that's really funny. I got a contract. He said, that's great, I don't have a job. The rest of that story, we know how it ended in Pittsburgh, so it ended happily. But I did call Abbotsmark Corporate and started trying to give them hell. And it was pointed out to me that nowhere, there were plenty of clauses in the contract for non-performance on Anthracon's part, If we canceled, nothing about what would happen if they canceled. So if you look at the contract with the Westin Convention Center in Pittsburgh, there's an unusual clause. It says, there will be a hotel on this site at the time of the convention. No, fortunately not. This was November, after con was to take place in July.
Everybody out.
They did offer me something. They said, we have a lovely property in Dallas. I said, I don't want to go to Dallas. They said, oh, well, we tried contract boy, bye. Click. Yeah, that's how they get you. Okay, you want to run a con? No, you don't. Give the contract to me first. I've seen stuff.
You send emails to people who want to run conventions.
You'll get more money if you say what I said to you.
That's right.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
15 minutes. 15 minutes? We got time for one more story. Who's got one? Jake. Go ahead.
Jake.
Pink shirt.
Pink shirt. The one. Okay, this actually is involves me at a con. Number 2.
Get those cars away from you.
Yeah, see, I mean, there we go. Careful. Actually, this happened at MFF a few years ago. The gracious Kage let me go on stage and do my first comedy act in front of a large group of people. And I actually was supposed to open for him, and the plan was, hey, it might happen, it might not. So I was like, cool, I'll prepare for it. If it doesn't happen, awesome. Well, he started his gig, and I was like, all right, it didn't happen, no problem. So my set that I prepared goes right out of my head. So I'm like, oh, it's gone. Next thing I know, I get a cue to come on up, and I end up doing my 15-minute set in about 30 seconds. So I was pretty bummed, and I was just down on myself, so I sat back down, and I have the most anime thing on the planet happen. I get a nosebleed. Now take note, I've never had a nosebleed like ever in my life. Maybe when I got punched by somebody in 3rd grade, but I've never had a nosebleed. So I had this nosebleed, come out to MFF, and I'm like, I gotta find a bathroom to take care of this. I go to the bathroom, and I find a secluded bathroom, because I've been to MFF for many, many years. I try to find out one that nobody's in. Everybody's that secluded little spot. So I find a stall, so I get in the stall, I'm trying to dry up my nose, and next thing I know, I hear, I'm like, okay, it's Saturday at MFF. It's 12 o'clock. It's a fire alarm. You know the history of MFF every year. Exactly, yes. So it's going off, and I did the dumbest thing ever. I'm like, this happens every year. I'm not going to do anything about it. So I'm sitting there, and I was like, okay, I'm trying to clean this up. So I head out, and I leave in the hallway. There's nothing there. There's backpacks on the ground, and it's just dead silence. So I've got Kleenex in my nose, and dried blood. I walk out in the main lobby, and there's 230 firefighters going, whoa, we've got one! Next thing I know, I'm being carted off at like 1,000,000 miles an hour on a stretcher. I'm being thrown into the back of a truck. I have no idea what's going on. They're throwing millions of questions at me. I'm like, what's going on? They're like, you tell us, sir, what's going on? And I'm like, I don't know. I was on stage and I bombed. I'm like, bomb? What bomb? Like, they freak out. They're like, bomb. Who's involved? How many people? I'm like, I don't know. I was on the stage for a second, and now everybody's gone. How many people were gone? How many people were there? I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And they're shooting flashlights in my eyes. I'm light sensitive. That's why I'm wearing sunglasses now. My eyes don't dilate. So they're just really freaked out. We have a victim. Victim number 1. Patient 1. Get this guy out of here. I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. So I'm denying this for like 10 hours. I have no clue what's going on. I'm seeing all these lights and stuff. And they sent me to the hospital. I get there, they tell me the chlorine thing, and I was kind of freaked out. They're like, yes, how was that bomb? I'm like, that was just my set. They're like, man, how bad are you? Jesus. 6. So yeah, I didn't get back to MFF until about 10:30 a.m. So thank you for that experience, Kage. That was awesome. You don't remember any of
Yeah, I
that?
arranged that for you.
Don't admit that.
You're being billed.
I have no clue. I came back to the hotel and everybody's like, "Where the hell have you been?"
That information is now with the FBI. That is where,
And that's where
unfortunately,
the story stops.
yep, it will be there. Yep.
Someday, maybe, but not yet.
Alkali, do you still have those insurance papers for the cars? There's been an accident.
Oh, God.
What did you do?
That was the worst insurance incident. They got the cars from the hotel last year. I got insurance papers. I have show cars in my hotel. I got the insurance done months ahead of time. It's the week before the con. What happens the week before the con?
Everything.
Yes. You go back over everything with a fine-tooth comb. I went back to the insurance company. Insurance papers are huge, huge reams of things. I have a thing about actually having physical copies to keep inside of folders and binders and stuff like that. So I went to get the physical copy. Their clerk looked at me, smiled, he's like, "So you're going to be racing Ferraris in a hotel?" Like, yeah, we're showcasing Ferraris in a hotel. How do they fit down the hallways? These are interesting questions. Could you explain why you are asking them? Well, your insurance policy covers racing cars indoors.
Racing cars indoors, not racing cars indoors. Punctuation.
Yeah.
I
thought that
had
was an expensive contract.
That's all going on while I'm going down to I-69 with $380,000 behind me in a rental truck. And they're like, no, stop, turn around. I'm like, yes. One day I was going on the Pittsburgh Turnpike.
Oatmeal.
Oh, I hate you guys. All right. The oatmeal story. Thank you guys so much for this. The story I will never get away from as long as I live.
That was the butter situation.
The butter situation. But I don't know if I can tell that one anymore without.
No.
The oatmeal story. I run Con Suite at MFF, a large, murderous department where good people go to die. That is how Con Suite works at large cons. Kage, would you like to describe Con Suite at Anthrocon?
We don't have one.
Smart. I'll now describe the Con Suite at MFF. We get in from GFS, pellets of meat. Did you know you could measure meat in pellets? You can measure meat in pellets. They pre-cut up a bunch of lunch meat. I have people sitting backstage. This is literally Wednesday night. If you work in my department and you can be there, it is 4 hours with plastic bags in your hands, rolling meat into trays so that you guys can descend on them like a swarm of locusts.
There's a line here about rolling alkalized meat, but I'm not going to.
So, this is our life in that department. We have a soda machine, or as I call it, the devil. The soda machine is a mind of its own. It has a CO2 tank that's as tall as me, almost as fat as me, so it's huge. This thing pumps CO2 through the system. Sometimes the water breaks, and then you fuckers... and then you guys fill up a cup with cold red Mountain Dew syrup while looking at me defiantly. Thanks for that. Saturday. Oh, you do, yes. Saturday. I have mentally checked out. But now that's no news. Joe run conventions here. By Saturday of a convention, you've got the face on, you're still running it, but there's a part of your brain that's just Homer Simpsoning. La 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 la, hey, da da, because you know your own bed is coming within the next 48 hours. And that's where I myself, the con treasurer, and a good friend of mine were at, in the back room of Con Suite. We were sitting in the kitchen. At this convention, there was a radio incident that would not stop happening. Allow them to give you the second verse of it. You heard it earlier. DuckTales. Woo! Every time. After that year, they got somebody, this is a department head, a one-person department head who has a radio on him at all time. His job is to say, stop. That's what he does. We need that. Well, it was getting out of hand. We're sitting in the back room. We're getting woo-woos. Like, we've been back there 10 minutes. We have gotten 5 woo-woos. And as we're sitting back there, Woody, the convention chairman, leans back, cracks his knuckles, and a good friend of mine goes in there and was like, finance director is broken. What was that? Cracked his knuckles. And this started a cascade of random nonsense. Random, and it wasn't that it was funny, it was that 4 or 5 people took on that social justice warrior roles, like, these radios are for official business only. And then I grabbed the radio like, Mahoney is round. It's a fact. Mahoney. No one knows what's in pimento. So as we are standing there, we are laughing about as hard as you guys are. This is going nuts. Now everyone is chosen aside. Now we have people just waiting to get their chance on the radio to tell us to either shut up or to say the strangest thing they can come up with. Which I believe was one by Huskoon for Alibaba Smoothie Sundays. Pretty sure that was pretty eye-opening. And as this was happening, Woody leaned over, holding aside, and knocked over a bowl of dry, no milk in it, oatmeal, all over my floor. Now, I mean, it's an accident, I can't be angry, but there's oatmeal all over my floor. I'm going to make the best of that situation. This is Alkaline, the oatmeal has been spilled. And Woody froze. Takaza froze. And Woody slowly reached for his chest as a smile to end all started forming on his lips. And I noticed radio chatter had stopped. As the door sign, come on. Oh boy, this is the door sign. Where has the oatmeal been spilled? All over the place, man, all over the place. Now they are clutching tables, trying to tell me something. It's just not coming out in any language we would recognize. And finally, door sign is back to Alkaline, what is your current position? Radio chatter now ends. Alkaline, what is your current position? And I look over at my friends like, what are they reading? And Woody doubled over, just pointing at the ground, and he can't speak. And so finally, to Gaza, very quietly, and out of breath, Alkaline, oatmeal is coming for money. This is Alkaline, a door sign. It's actual oatmeal. It was a different word. I was not allowed to use the radio at MFF for 2 years. I consider it a win. And we don't serve oatmeal anymore. Guys, this has been Convention Horror Stories. Because we love you and you hate us. Thank you very much.